So you've been playing your guitar and you suspect that it might be time to change the strings, but you don't know for sure. How do you know whether or not your strings need to be changed? In this video, I will show you how to know. Let's listen to and look at some strings that don't need to be changed and some that do. So this is a Taylor 214 CE. And we're going to play a little bit on it with the old strings to hear what they sound like. I'm just back from changing the strings on that Taylor. If you want to see the video of how I did it, feel free to click on the link. Let's hear what the new strings sound like in contrast to the old ones. We're going to take a look at two guitars real quick. One of them needs a string change and the other doesn't. Before we even get started, I'll go ahead and say, if one of your strings broke, you need to do probably one of two things. Change out the whole set because the strings are getting corroded, or quit playing like that. It's not good for the guitar. This is a Martin D15M. It's an all mahogany solid wood, wonderful guitar. And I've just changed the strings out on it recently, so I'm going to bring the camera over here so you can see what they look like, almost brand new. Some things that we're looking for are corrosion, or any discoloration on the strings will indicate corrosion, basically rusting. If your strings are rusting, you need to change them out. And we're also listening to make sure that we got a nice, powerful, harmonically rich tone out of the guitar. So you'll notice that the strings are a consistent color all the way across. Another really good way to check to see whether or not your strings need changing is to look at the strings up on the headstock. Now you can see here that the strings, as they're wrapped around the posts there, are the exact same color that they are if we look at them down around the sound hole, which is where I've been playing the guitar. So where we would have the most contact from my hands and therefore the most sweat and oil and things that would cause corrosion. So these strings are pretty new, and as such they still look consistent all the way across, so we're good there. This is a Taylor 214 CE. It's also a very beautiful guitar. It's got a spruce top and rosewood back and sides. And this one actually does need a string change. So again, I'm going to bring the camera over here for you to have a look. We're going to be seeing some corrosion, a little bit of fraying on some of the strings because these strings were coated. So the coating is beginning to fray a little bit, but we've got some significant discoloration, and the strings just don't quite ring like they used to. So bring the camera over here and you can have a look. Now on this guitar we have some discoloration. You can see there, especially on the G string, that basically, or on the D string as well. If you look at this string right here, you can see that there's all kinds of dirt on it. And look there on the A string, see that little spot right there in the middle of the screen. That's corrosion. And I don't know if you'll be able to see this on the camera, but right here on the G string, there is some fraying of the original coating. Try to get that perfectly in focus there. So right in the middle of the screen there should be a little bit of basically tiny hairs coming off of the string, and that's another thing you want to watch out for if you're using coated strings. So let's take a look up here at where the fingers have been fretting on the guitar. So you can, I'm sure, see that. Basically right about there and there, and on this string right there, there is pretty significant corrosion up there. So these strings do need to be changed. This is a Baby Tailor spruce top layered sapele back and sides, and it is also in need of a string change. This one actually has some pretty dramatic corrosion there on the D string, so I'll bring the camera over here for you to see that. Alright, let's take a look here. So you can see right there on the D string, I'm sure, right there in the middle of the screen. So you can see the corrosion right there in the center of focus there on the A string, and on the D string as well. So these strings definitely need to be changed. If you don't like the way your guitar sounds, changing out the strings can be a great way to get a totally new and different sound out of the guitar. Trying new sets of strings and brands that you haven't tried before can really breathe new life into the sound of your instrument. So if you notice any discoloration or corrosion on your strings, that may be an indication that it's time to consider getting a new set. If one string breaks, it's definitely time to get a new set. And if you just notice that your guitar sounds a little more dull and dark than it used to, then you may want to consider getting some fresh strings on to brighten up the sound. I hope this video was helpful and that you now know whether or not you need to change your strings. If you've decided that you do need to change your strings, then click on the link to watch a video showing how to do it.